Some context. Gavin Newscum is the governor of California, our largest and for a long time our most prosperous state. About 40 million people live in California. So far, 2 of them under the age of 18 have died of the COVID-19 virus. So naturally, Gavin Newscum has shut down the entire state. Businesses are shuttered, people wear masks even as they eat. Large groups are forbidden to congregate. Thanksgiving itself is on its way to being canceled. It's a tough way to live, but Californians have no choice. This is science, people. And Gavin Newscum is California's epidemiologist in chief. He commands obedience, and the serfs obey. With that in mind, the San Francisco Chronicle broke a pretty amazing story this week. Governor Newscum recently attended a birthday dinner up in wine country at the French Laundry. That's one of the best and most expensive restaurants in the world. There were 12 people at Newsom's dinner, and to civilians, that number seemed to be a clear violation of Newsom's own rules. But as we were told, it really wasn't. It turns out that Newscum was simply celebrating the birthday of a longtime friend of his, a lobbyist actually, called Jason Kinney. A spokesperson for Kinney described the night this way, quote, "This was a small, intimate 12-person dinner held outdoors with family and a few close friends to celebrate a 50th birthday." In other words, no big deal. For his part, Governor Newscum assured his suffering subjects that, quote, "Our family followed the restaurant's health protocols and took safety precautions." So really, ladies and gentlemen, it was nothing. Just a small, intimate dinner held in nature, under God's blue skies, just a few close friends staying safe and following the protocols to the letter, as mandated by the state that, in fact, they run. So relax, people. No one's getting Rona here. That was the story. Now the photograph. We have the picture thanks to Fox 11 in Los Angeles, one of the rare local stations that still does reporting. It's a picture of the birthday dinner up in Napa. It turns out it was not held outside. It was held in a private room, and not a spacious private room either. All 12 people were packed in tight, shoulder to shoulder, breathing on each other. No social distancing here. Not one of them is wearing a mask. A steam room in central Wuhan could not be more contagious than this dinner. Gavin Newsom's birthday party was a germ factory, and his guests were human petri dishes. But what a guest list it was. Next to Governor Newscum sat the CEO of the California Medical Association, and one over from him, one of the state's top health lobbyists. Together, the 2 of them represent tens of thousands of physicians, credentialed men of science and women of science in the state of California. So if you're wondering why, if you live in California, you can't have Thanksgiving this year, or visit your mother as she dies alone in the hospital, it is because of them and people like them. And yet there they were, eating $300 truffle pasta and living like this pandemic thing never even happened. The picture of them doing it, known henceforth to history as the French Laundry photograph, is the year 2020 condensed to its essence. Here you have plutocrats dining with lobbyists, ignoring the very orders they're so self-righteously imposing on others, gorging themselves in seclusion as the people they're supposed to be helping wither and die. And then when they're caught, they lie about it. How perfect is that? It's all there, every element. Hypocrisy, greed, selfishness, stupidity. This is our national moment in a single picture. Move over, Dorothea Lange. So what's Gavin Newsom's explanation for this picture? Well, in the interest of equal time and fairness, we're going to show it to you now.
I made a bad mistake. Instead of sitting down, I should have stood up and walked back, got in my car, and drove back to my house. Instead, I chose to sit there with my wife and a number of other couples that were outside the household. You can quibble about the guidelines, et cetera, but the spirit of what I'm preaching all the time was contradicted, and I got to own that. And so I want to apologize to you.
Oh, yeah. When I saw it, I should have just walked out, got in the car, and driven home. Okay, Gavin. So you had no idea there were going to be a dozen people at your own party. You're the governor, but you never saw the guest list. You were totally shocked. That's ridiculous. It's too stupid to be an explanation, and we are stupider for pretending to believe it. Why not just tell the truth, which is, I don't really totally believe everything I say, at least not enough to let it interfere with dinner. That's the truth. You know it, he knows it. But he's forcing us to play along with an absurd lie. On the other hand, at least Gavin Newsom didn't follow the lead of Nancy Pelosi and blame the restaurant. He didn't accuse the maitre d' of setting him up as part of a conspiracy among the famously right-wing restaurant community in Napa. The French Laundry probably won't suffer the same fate as Pelosi's hairstylist, at least as long as they stay quiet about it. And to his credit, Gavin Newsom didn't follow the example of Dianne Feinstein. Feinstein has refused to answer any questions as she parades around the halls of the United States Senate and private airport terminals, FBOs, maskless and exposed, breathing on people, infecting them. No explanation for that. And to be fair, once again, Gavin Newsom's explanation, though obviously untrue, is still better than what his buddy, the lobbyist, the guy they're having the dinner for, has come up with. Through a spokesman, he said, whoa, the guest specifically requested outdoor seating, and that was provided by the restaurant. Indoor seating, rather. Indoor. That's what they really were doing. He's saying they were outdoors, but now we have a picture showing that, and he's still claiming it. No, it was outdoors. In other words, ignore the walls and the roof. What looks like inside was actually outside. Got that? Up is down, black is white, war is peace. Trust me, not your lying senses. If only the criminal paddleboarders had thought of that.